There's a great piece. There was a great documentary on hypernovas that I watched once, and when they first started discovering hypernovas, they thought that there was aliens having war in the sky,
right?
Because there was explosions that were taking place in far distant portions of the universe, and they were like, "What is happening? These are happening on a regular basis." And then they realized that these are hypernovas. Right. Yeah, they destroy solar systems. They destroy everything. Like it's an immense explosion of power that's beyond our comprehension, and it's happening all the time.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial life?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's here. I don't know if it's visited, but just the vastness of the universe itself, and if you believe in the concept of infinity, that means the possibilities of this happening exactly the way we are also infinite. Yeah. It's infinity. It's really hard to put it in your head because it doesn't make sense. But the true infinity would mean that everything that you've ever done and everything that I've ever done and everything we've ever said and every piece of paper you ever put down, all that has happened an infinite number of times in the universe, in some other place. That's how crazy, and every other variable in between. That's how crazy infinity is. So I think that if we imagine that we're the only ones, that seems silly. Yeah. It just doesn't even make sense. It's kind of like nuclear power. Because you talk about nuclear power to people and go, wait, nuclear bombs, nuclear bad. Nuclear is dangerous. Nuclear is dangerous. I think we think that way about aliens. Because I think there's been so many kooks that have had so many fake stories and so many doctored photos and everything's blurry and just weird people that probably lied, and then compelling stories that are really confusing, like really intelligent people, like Commander David Fravor, who was a fighter jet pilot in 2004 and encountered this thing that they tracked going from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
I think I saw, was there a clip?
There's video of this thing.
I think I saw
it. There's a video of this thing. They tracked it. They think it was interacting with something that was submerged. They were as it closed. And then this thing, when it jetted off at this insane rate of speed, first of all, it blocked their tracking. It blocked their, whatever the radar or whatever sensors that they were using. And then it shot off at an insane rate of speed and stopped at their cat point, which is the point where they had the predetermined point where they were going to meet up in this exercise that they were doing. And this thing went to that spot, and it was 20 feet long and looked like a tic-tac. And it was just hovering like a tic-tac, like a candy, like a little white tic-tac candy. Uh-huh. So they call it the tic-tac UFO. When I talk to guys like that, I go, well, if it's not a UFO, if that's not from another planet, that it's maybe more scary than if the Chinese have something that's that advanced that can move like that. Is this some new type of technology that might be available to the probably just like the high-end military applications that they're using for drones and all these different propulsion methods? If they've figured something that crazy out, it's kind of game over. If they can go 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second, like what is that?
If they wanted to use it, they would have done it by now.
Perhaps. Or perhaps it's an alien. Or a probe from some alien planet, or something non-biological. Maybe they've gotten past the necessity of biological life.
If you're an alien, wouldn't you want to visit this place and
100%
share with the culture?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
The same reason why. Did you watch Chimp Empire?
Who?
Chimp Empire. It's this amazing documentary series that's on Netflix right now. And it's about these embedded journalists who document chimpanzee life in this part of the very deep in the jungle called a place called Ngogo. And it's incredible because the scientists that laid the groundwork for this documentary, they've been studying this particular group of chimpanzees for 30 years. So the chimpanzees have become completely fine with them being around. They have like rules of interaction. They have to stay within, I think, 20 yards of the chimpanzees at all time. And as long as they do that, the chimpanzees behave as if they don't exist. And they enact in war, they kill monkeys, they hunt, defend their territory. They take over new territory. They do all this stuff in front of people, but they don't interact with the chimpanzees, and they don't interrupt their life. I think that's what the aliens do with us, because that's what we do with intelligent primates. Why would you do any different if you were an alien? I think if I was an alien life form, I would make sure that the chimps don't blow themselves up. Like if chimpanzees and Ngogo, if all of a sudden they've developed TNT and they start soldering and they're building bombs and they're planting, okay, hold on, fellas, you can't blow yourselves up. You can't just be blowing the jungle up and starting fires. Let's stop. If I was an alien life form, I would treat human beings the same way that I, as a human being, would treat chimpanzees if they started developing bombs. I'd be like, we need to get the bombs away from the chimps. I would, if chimpanzees developed like missiles and they started shooting missiles at each other through the jungle, don't you think we'd be like, hey, cut the shit? You're not even people. Only people are allowed to kill people like that. I think if alien life forms do exist, I think the most likely strategy is the one that we use on higher primates, on lower primates rather. We don't interfere. We observe, but the true scientists, they just sort of stand back and watch. And the chimpanzees don't seem to have any problem with these people being around. That's occasionally they get curious, and when they start walking towards the person just keeps backing up. And as long as they stay a certain distance, the chimp loses interest. It's really weird. You just can't eat in front of them ever. And you just can never like raise your voice. You can't behave in a threatening way. And they just interact with the chimps.
And this documentary is coming up.
It's out right now. It's out on Netflix.
It's called Chimp Empire.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's really fantastic. But
we're learning too much too fast.
My point is, like, I think that if there are aliens, I think they would do the same. I think they would just watch. Just make sure we don't blow ourselves up, watch, and maybe, let us know occasionally that we're not alone. That's what I would do. I would like, just like the scientists had to slowly habituate themselves to the chimpanzees, they had to slowly do it. They did it because at first the chimpanzees ran, and then they had to figure out some sort of way that they can just be around them enough that the chimpanzees relaxed. And as soon as they realized they were never a threat, and then generations of them realized they were never a threat, then they could do the work that they're doing. It's pretty wild stuff. I think I would do that if I was an alien. I would just sit around and watch.
Well, that's why people have dogs and cats. I love cats are great. They watch us,
Yeah, sure. I think
it is an alien form, isn't it? A cat.
Oh yeah, sure. So are dogs. Wolves. Yeah. Wolves are. I mean, what a bizarre alien life form.
Degree. I mean, a goldfish, for that matter, is an alien form.